Trey Campbell here, coming at you with a recap video, just a small quick video on a pretty boring day. Well, it started out to be a boring day, then it kind of became a very interactive day, and it became very fun and very full of trades. Well, 3 trades, but when you're trading with Nadex, 3 trades is a pretty good bit. So let me just hop right into it and get you on this recap here. So basically what we have here is we had the /ES and /NQ running pretty side by side this morning, and it was pretty interesting because I had orders for both, and they both got triggered about the same time, and it was a pretty interesting moment there when you're watching 2 different markets side by side, and they act the same. So you're looking at them, you're like, okay, am I in the same thing or what's going on? But they started to differ a little bit, so it worked out really well. I had different reasons for getting into each chart, and that's what I'm going to jump into right now. So let's just go ahead and pull up the /ES right here, and this is a 4-hour chart. So you're looking at 4 hours worth of price action, so each bar is 4 hours, right? And slowly but surely we are working our way back down into what I call a demand zone, which is supply and demand. So I'm looking at this area being demand and this being supply. And the reason that I trade that way is because all I see in charting is a big auction. You got bidders, you got sellers, you got people bidding on what people are selling, and vice versa. It's just a big marketplace. I used to be in the car business too, so I'd go to these car auctions. There's a lot of similarities right there. So you just got to kind of look at it in perspective for what it really is. And so basically what I have on my charts here is I've got these Keltner channels, and as this chart moved into this bottom Keltner here, that is where I took my position long there with 15 contracts. And on this 4-hour chart, it looks like I didn't really do anything, but let's just zoom in here a little bit so I can show you exactly how it worked out. So here's the bell. We come down, we bounce off this gray box here, we keep moving down. I'm being patient this whole time. I'm sitting here thinking, man, there's nothing going on, I'm gonna just call it a day. And then we finally move down into my zone. Let me see here if I can pull this up for you. So bear with me a second. Okay, so here's my my orders here, and basically with this US 500 here, 15 contracts were purchased at 1032 with a strike price at or above 27.7830, and I got those for $50 a piece. So let's move this down, 27.7830. So right about here where my crosshair is where my strike was, and I actually purchased this as we moved into as we moved down, and I held a little bit of negative position there for just a split second for a few minutes, and then it finally bounced back up. I took profit right here somewhere, and that's trade 1 in the books. Boom. It was a great trade. It was not a whole lot of money. It could have been a whole lot more, but I was happy with it, and it worked out really well. So let's go on to trade number 2 here. Let me just go ahead and pull this up. So trade number 2 this morning, this crude oil stuff that you see here was actually a break-even trade, so I'm not even going to go over it. It was actually an accident, but I misclicked some buttons and ended up in a crude oil trade. So let's look at the US Tech 100 here. 15 contracts bought at 1032, just like the 15 contracts here. Look here, I bought at 1032.15 and 1032.18, so just a few seconds apart. 15 US Tech 100, stating that this contract will be greater than 71.31 by 12 p.m. I got those for $45. pull this chart up here. Actually, let me go over this really fast. So the 4-hour chart on the /NQ or the US Tech 100 here is not as oversold, so we didn't really move into that demand that we did with the US 500, and that's okay. What I saw here was potential demand at this level, and the reason I did is because if you look here, we had demand here. We had we broke through it, but we came back and then we used it as demand, right? And then back in here last week, we used it for demand right here, and we also used it for supply in the past. So it was a pretty significant line. I love structure. That's my thing. I love to see structure like that, so I know I've got a little bit of edge when it comes to structure. So let's put that away now, and let's pull up a 1-minute chart so I can show you the exact entry on it as well. So a lot like that first chart I showed you. Right here it is. We entered here at 45, so we entered on this bar, and it was probably about right here, and then we ended up taking profit up here somewhere in this area here. So it dropped against me a hair, but not bad, and then I just kind of scaled out of it. It was a pretty easy trade. And then the last but not least, I have a end of the day trade here that I put on that I got into. It was this /RTY, and it was a pretty easy trade. Let me see if I can find the oops. So yeah, okay, so here it is, the small cap 2000. I bought at 1331 or 131.54. I had a 3 o'clock expiry. I bought it for $50. I bought 15 of them, and it was 1540.80. So if you look right here, 1331. So it's right here on this red candle. I bought, and basically held through this little pullback, and then sold them on this push. Now this one only yielded me about 120 bucks, but still, I mean, it was a good little trade, and we were overextended. And the reasons why I got into that, well, that's just standard bell curve stuff. And if you look at right here, I can show you we were at 1.5 deviation right there. So I just did a rough estimate and put a red line in here showing where the -2 deviation would be, and that's about a 95, I think, % chance if you're talking statistics and trading with probability that price will close above this line. So by the close today, we have a 95% chance that price will close above. I'm not looking for the close, I'm just looking for a buck. So basically what happened was I saw that, I threw this red line on, and this was after lunch. I came back and I just threw on the charts and was just looking, and I saw that we had plunged down in here and we were under the -2, and I said, well, let's just throw this on and see what happens. And sure enough, we got this little pop. I was out, and then sure enough, this is holding true. We're probably, more than likely, odds speaking and statistically speaking, we're going to close above this red line right here. And if if not, then it'll be that 5% chance day that we close below it. And it happens, but it's very rare, and I like the odds of a 95% chance, so that's why I took that trade. Other than that, there really was not anything that I liked particularly, because we had, if you look here on the 4-hour, that's just not good. We're coming down into this demand zone right here, finally reaching some decent demand right in this area, but we had to go all the way to -2 to get it. So you can see that right there, and we're just kind of sitting there right now. So we'll see if it holds and what tomorrow may hold, but as of right now, that is the trading day. Just want to throw this out here also. if you are interested, we have a, let me pull this up really fast. So we have a Nadex chat room through Discord. The owner of it is a cool guy. His name's Cody, and I'm part of this room here. This is just the Nadex trading room, and we just sit and chill and trade, and we share ideas. It's great. And if you're interested in trading Nadex, please come in there. I'll put a link for an invite underneath this. Come join us. We would love to have you. We're trying to grow the Nadex community within this chat room. The bigger we can get it, the more interaction we can get, the more profit we can make. So right now, you've got some pretty good people in there. Myself, I'm profitable day by day. The last red day I had was probably about a month ago. I'm staying green consistently. I'm not taking huge wins, and I'm happy. I'm good with that. I'm a scalper. I like just taking little bits and pieces here and there. And I'm comfortable with that. That's the way I like to trade. And it may not be the way you like to trade, but that's why we need you in there. We need to start hearing from you. And there's plenty of videos on Nadex training. I've got a few videos out there you can watch. But if you get in there and you have any questions, I'll video chat you. We can do whatever you want to do, man. None of this is costing you a dime either. So we have right now a platform, a chat room that's free, that's making money. Nadex demos, you can jump on a demo. They last forever. You can trade it until you're super comfortable before actually getting in there and trading real money. So it's just a good opportunity for people right now that are struggling with the stock market, or struggling with having an account that may be under a PDT rule. With Nadex you can trade as much as you want. Unlike options, you don't have any clearing time. You can jump right back into another trade as soon as that trade clears. Sometimes it might take a few minutes, but for the most part, it's very fast, and you can trade it as often as you want. There's just a lot of upside to it. So please come and join us. I'll put a link below. I think that's it. Everybody have a great day, and I will talk to you later.